And hello, everybody. Welcome back to the FaceIt League Season 6 Master Playoffs Lower Division. My name is Musy. I'm joined here by, it's mostly just me actually today here in the booth, speaking out to you out there in the world. Of course, I do have my eyes in the skies, head rammer, and hippie out there making sure that everything is running as smoothly as possible. So thank you to the production for making sure that we get a chance to even see the games coming at you today. And we do have a bit of a heater for you between ILIAD ARTEMIS and Rundown Mid Emote. Like, it's going to be tense. There's a lot on the line between the two teams, and they have a lot to prove. So me personally, I'm excited to see how they face up against each other as we get a chance to move forward and kind of get a chance to see how, you know, our folks over ILIAD ARTEMIS have been doing so far. A little bit of a tough start, but we're definitely coming back here. You get a chance to see it there on the screen. So Helios especially being able to walk away with that 3-1 maybe a couple of weeks ago, and then Artemis as well over Shikigami feeling pretty strong. So now we got to take that energy and bring it all the way over to Emote down mid. So me personally, I'm excited to see how we're able to do against them. Some new interesting changes to Overwatch as well. You know, Wu Yong being playable for this match as well. So it'll be interesting to see how many, you know, title blasts end up getting thrown out there on the stream. But in terms of what ILIAD ARTEMIS is known for, is we get a chance to introduce ourselves to the team, to the players. Not many Wu Yongers out there, but we do still have the Kirikos and the Reinhardts of the world. I'm always keeping an eye out for you know, Pinkri if they're able to find those last bits of damage with those window of opportunity headshots with the Widow. But the competition that they're going to be facing up against from Emote down mid is going to be fairly stiff. As we transition over and see the roster there, it's going to be tough, right? I mean, Gorilla Eden, the supports, the backline there, and, you know, Kashir out there in the front. A lot of names that I'll have my eyes peeled out there for you as we get a chance to move on up, out, and forward. But more than anything, just excited to be able to spend the time here with everybody today and get our eyes and ears on top of everything. So going into this, was made aware, like I said before, it's going to be kind of a close match, a tough match, definitely an exciting one, because both of these teams are fighting for that chance to be able to play, you know, and move on up and out of the division that they're in when they get to those relegations. So is a lot on the line, not only pride, but just the opportunity to keep on grinding up and forward. So for all you ILIAD ARTEMIS fans out there, rooting out there for your homies, time to get the pom-poms together, make sure that we got the cheerleader uniform on and ready to go, because they're going to need all of your energy, hands in the sky now, as we get that spirit bomb up and charging. Just kind of waiting to see which map we end up going to first. It does look like it's going to be that Lijiang Tower that ILIAD ARTEMIS is going to be locking in for themselves. So starting off with control for ILIAD ARTEMIS, putting their best foot forward here. Definitely want to make sure that they'll be able to have a lot of space, making sure that we're able to get those points and everything like that. A lot of flexible team comps to be coming out from a map like Lijiang Tower, so a lot of freedom of expression here. It does give ILIAD ARTEMIS the opportunity to kind of play with what's going to work for them today against Emote down mid. So if there's ever a time to experiment, it's going to be right now. It is the first to 3 maps too, so not that ILIAD ARTEMIS would ever take a knee for the sake of information, but if there was ever a time to do it, Control Tower for Lijiang, I think, could be an opportunity just to test the waters a bit and start asking some questions. You know, if I end up locking in, you know, the D.Va or the Reinhardt, what's your answer? What's your response? We play rock, paper, scissors. What do you want to do? How do you want to play it out? So I'm very excited to see that kind of rope pull game, that tug of war of who ends up gets to, you know, to be that king of the hill moment. But it does look like, well, I can see. You can't see. I got a whole lot going on over here. But the picks and bans Well, the bans first, we pick later. It looks like D.Va's going to be off the board from Emote down mid. They say we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to have it. So being able to eat up projectiles, throw out that D.Va bomb, that self-destruct, just having none of it. ILIAD ARTEMIS thinking about what they want to take off the board next. I feel like there are a lot of options you could take here. You could try to start pincering down what tanks would be left on the field with another tank response, or if you want to go for like the tried and true, maybe pick away a couple of supports to just really throw a wrench in pretty much everybody's plan. Definitely looking at things like Kiriko, which is just super strong, like all the time. Denying yourself that pick would hurt, but hey, it would also be able to really screw up anything else that people have planned. But it does look like it's going to be that Symmetra hover and Symmetra ban taken off the board. So no quick out of the bases for anybody today, and no laser beams. So we have ourselves a good clean fight in this map 1 between ILIAD and Emote down mid. So we get a chance to get loaded into the map and into the game. Lijiang Tower. It feels like Lijiang Tower does have a lot of space that you're able to play with, especially depending on where you're starting, be it the garden, that night market, or the control center. I'm always a big fan specifically of the night market. You got that center point you're always arguing around, but especially with those cliffs that are off to the side, you can get a cheeky Lucio boop on out of there, or any kind of crowd control especially becomes very relevant. But it's control center as well that I think also has a lot of outplay potential in terms of being able to sneak behind people, maybe argue over that high ground. But it does look like we're starting out here on the garden side of things. So again, central point and a lot of space where a Lucio or anybody with crowd control could be able to keep people off and away. But still some outplay potential between the two sides to be able to swoop around and maybe find some isolated targets as we are able to transition and get into the game. Beautiful. Lijiang Tower. It's map 1. Game 1. ILIAD ARTEMIS versus Emote down mid. Some of the picks coming locked in here. The hamster ball making its appearance for Emote down mid. Definitely heard it through the grapevine. Some extra play for the hamster. So I'm excited to see where that comes into play for Emote down mid. Notably, when you are locking in this hamster, you're not going to be able to have a lot of protection or peel for your team, but what it does leverage you is a fair amount of aggression, I feel, especially when you have that Tracer and the Reaper to really just get in the face of the enemy. ILIAD ARTEMIS is going to be keeping their eyes peeled for that. And already causing some trouble, some havoc. He does take a little bit of poke as Emote down mid starts to position themselves towards that point already. ILIAD ARTEMIS starts to swarm around. We do see the Tracer get picked off pretty quickly. Victory putting in quite a bit of work and damage here. Lucio as well. Getting a chance to take another look at the team composition here for ILIAD ARTEMIS. I do like a lot of what they have to offer, but it does feel like it's going to come down to the difference here in tanks, what they're able to bring to the table. And so far it does seem like that hamster ball is creating a lot of space for Emote down mid. ILIAD ARTEMIS is being forced back just a tad. It's the initial grab. Does go to Emote down mid. Still options available to get in if you are ILIAD ARTEMIS. It's going to come down to things like those Tracer 1v1s, being able to find and isolate somebody. Oh, you're seeing right now a little bit of a game of cat and mouse. This Victory does make a little bit of an escape. The pulse bomb is online, looking for the target. It sticks. Down goes Maverick. Victory finds the first pick there. Control still belonging to Emote down mid. Kashir is able to take away the life of the Reaper. And unfortunately, ILIAD ARTEMIS just cannot seem to get into the point. They want to be able to back up and regroup just a bit. Waiting for some ultimates online, right? So Victory did have to use that pulse bomb in order to maintain that space. The minefield's going to be up again for this hamster ball. An important tool. There's the Kiriko ult from Mardox. They're going in. It's Kiriko ult for Kiriko ult. Beat comes down for ILIAD ARTEMIS for playing with our life bars. And health bars are low. A delayed beat drop from the enemy Lucio. Victory Is able to find not one, but two picks. Death Blossom is available for Kashir. Looking for a moment to get in there, and ILIAD Artemis is forced to back up. Likewise, Emote down mid, not looking to get too crazy here, but just crazy enough to find the last couple of picks that they need. This hamster ball, I really do feel like it's creating quite a bit of space for Emote down mid, and that space is letting them operate with a lot of freedom. As ILIAD Artemis, 10% left. Hamster up, goes to the knock up. Death Blossom blocked out. Not able to get the damage they need, but with 4% there, Artemis is rushing on top of the point. It is currently contested. The Pulse Bomb limited in the damage it can do. Reaper's able to find a pick. Marduk does go down, but Pain is going insane in the membrane. Death Blossom available. The capture is on. Does look like ILIAD Artemis buys themselves a bit more time, so the game is not yet quite over, which is good for the ILIAD Artemis fans out there. This was their first pick. They did pick this Lijiang Tower, so they definitely want to feel comfortable here, and it looks like it's a little bit of a switch up already in terms of team composition. Kashir moves over towards that Pharah pick. Area denial, there's the minefield, but just barely escaping with their life. Pain does go down to victory. He's able to find a little bit more damage as well. Maverick will hit the black and white, and Industrial gets boofed off the ledge, but Lucio should be able to make their way back up. But do you want to be back up there? Because it is dangerous for a frog. Definitely not somewhere you want to be without your friends. Okay, victory. I didn't know you played video games like that. That's insane. Definitely went over it. Emote down mid will be able to confirm the first point there. So while it's just one score, it does set a precedent for Emote down mid. Definitely taking the fight to ILIAD Artemis on their terms, on their map that they picked. The hamster ball, I felt, really was doing quite a bit of work, but also you have to give your laurels over to victory. Definitely not a player who's afraid. Always willing to go in, always willing to search for that fight. And the Pharah swap off as well. I don't know if it really means anything right now, but I think moving forward, it's going to show that Emote down mid is willing to be flexible and willing to kind of try new things, even if they take a quick initial knee. We're back here in the control center. A little bit of a switch up. We see the Junker Queen for Maverick now, so a bit of anti-heal and a solid amount of crowd control as well. Already paying dividends. Down goes the hamster ball. ILIAD Artemis take the first step forward. They need another pick before they can really start to contest this point, just because Cardifan's going to be back up and running. Tracer looking for a bit of damage. We're charging up for that Pulse Bomb. Artemis on the point, but the Tracer gets picked off. Now Victory's looking for their way in. A lot of healing coming out from Industrial, doing a good job keeping their team alive. Marto as well. But it's just not enough. The Reaper shotguns start tearing through people, and Victory has been on it with this Tracer pick. Ultimates are going to be coming online soon as well, and this is where the hamster ball really comes in clutch. That space that it's able to make allows this Tracer to be able to operate. We in the MOBA community call that free casting. It does kind of feel like that kind of situation where it's hard to acknowledge this Tracer with the hamster in your face, but the bomb sticks. It finds Industrial. The Kiriko Marto is in a bit of danger as well. Finally, the Tracer goes down. ILIAD Artemis starts walking up towards that point. Maverick up front with the Junker Queen. Pulse Bomb is available for Mobutu. Where's the target? Hamster wheel health getting pretty low. We chase after him and they go down. Now looping around the side, runs into victory. The rewind to get back and away. Flitting back and forth, zigging and zagging. Death Blossom comes out and it's big and it's back to back. 2-for-2 sail between both sides. ILIAD Artemis has control of the point in victory, desperately trying to harass the remaining members. Kiriko ultimate comes out. ILIAD Artemis seeking to maintain control of the point, and they will have it, even despite the minefield that came out there from the hamster as well. Artemis looking a lot stronger on this go around, and I do feel a lot of it has to do with just having the answer to the enemy Tracer. If you're able to lock down Emote down mid's victory, then you can lock down their victory. Here comes the Kiriko ult from EDM. That's the go button, but they don't really have a whole lot else other than that. Junker Queen goes in as well. Beat dropped for EDM. Damage comes out. It's enough to put down Maverick, who ate too much damage at the front. Meanwhile, in the back, Lucio eats a kunai to the face. ILIAD still maintains control over the point. Kiriko falling down means that the sustain is not going to be there for ILIAD ARTEMIS, and it looks like Reaper took quite a bit of poke. Tracer in the back trying to see what they can find, but it's only a fist to the face as Victory cleans them up. Emote down mid takes control of the point. At this point, definitely nobody gets stuck into the base. Emote down mid playing very forward, not playing on the point, trying to take the fight to ILIAD ARTEMIS. We're stacked up, ready to go. No ultimates available. It's going to come down to the left click and the buttons that you have on your keyboard. Mobutu taking a bit of poke, able to sustain out. Charging for that pulse bomb. There's the Death Blossom. Doesn't quite find the purchase that it wants to. Shut down by Mardox. Kitsune guides you. There goes the spirits. And Pancrase is able to take down Victory. ILIAD ARTEMIS retake control of the point, and what a shot for the Kiriko. Catches Gorilla on the downfall. 82% and climbing for ARTEMIS. They'll have their own Death Blossom ready as well, but they'll have to contend against the Pulse Bomb from Victory. If that Tracer Bomb finds the mark, it's going to be a hard game to play. Hamster eats the Pulse Bomb. There's the Death Blossom. No kills on the board quite yet. We're creating space, but it does look like the Hamster's on the point. They C9'd it. Hold on a minute. Tracer's around. Lucio doubles back. Both teams collapse back on top of the point. Kiriko ultimate comes out, offering quite a bit of damage, attack, speed for Emote down mid. And a couple of picks on top of ILIAD ARTEMIS means that they're going to have to give this up. Just trying to buy some time, but gotta be careful not to stick around too long. 92%. Have to run onto that point. It's climbing. Industrial caught out by the enemy Lucio, and unfortunately Emote down mid are able to get that second point and clean it up. ILIAD ARTEMIS down a map. So it's a little bit of a rough start, but a good showing so far, especially on that second point. It was very close. Really just came down to being able to find and isolate the right targets. I really feel like the Tracer is going to be a big issue for ARTEMIS going forward. If we can find a way to keep Victory off of their game, that really opens up a lot of potential for the rest of the team. So I'll be curious to know where we're headed for our next map for ILIAD ARTEMIS. I mean, we have a lot of potential here to turn this around. For ILIAD ARTEMIS, if there's anything I know about them, is they got a lot of heart, they got a lot of passion, and they want this game. So, game one is that game of information. Playing to the first of 3 maps, you have some room to play with. That was the playing room. That was asking questions, figuring out what works, and figuring out what doesn't work, right? I do believe the Junker Queen was able to do quite a bit for this ILIAD ARTEMIS team, especially being able to throw out the knives. You got some anti-heal there, offers a lot of damage. You just got to be able to kind of not ignore the hamster wheel, but if you know that this wheel is going to be up there in your face, just go straight to the juicy center of that Tootsie Pop and try to pop those squishies there in the back line. Looks like up next, we are going to be having King's Row for our map 2. I love me a classic King's Row. It's kind of a that combination. You're going to take that point and then you're going to move that payload. So there's a couple of different team compositions that can come around, but I don't expect too many changes here, especially from Emote down mid. It seems like they're very comfortable with what they've been playing so far. We saw that Pharah switch like last second, but it didn't really stick. For ILIAD ARTEMIS though, for what they've been playing, I think it should pan out pretty well for what they want to go for. But if you're Emote down mid, you've already got that momentum in your back pocket. You're definitely ready to run away with that. Me, personally, I'm fingers crossed for a five map banger. That's just because I love watching me some Overwatch. Like, I'm always down to get right down to the wire. ILIAD Artemis are definitely going to try to sweep this back up as soon as they can, but you have to play a few more maps in order to get to that point. Moving on over here, we do see we've got some bans coming through. The Wu Yang, it didn't show up, and nor will it. It is off the board. As ILIAD Artemis say, we do not want to deal with the newest character added to the game. We're just going to go ahead and take that away from everybody. Emote down mid, they say no Malga, no Cage, no Rage, and no Haven. So again, slimming down some of the options here. I don't think the team comps get too wildly affected at this stage. We're already kind of playing characters that weren't showing up in these bans, but it means that you won't be able to fall back on it when the time comes. I know Malga is one of those picks where you're just like, I just gotta fight people. I just want to kill somebody. Guys, just lock me in a Malga. Let's get in a cage and go crazy. Well, you have to drink a lot of water and eat your Wheaties because you won't be able to fall back on the Malga this time. Instead, it's gonna be the Reinhardt for Emote down mid and the giant purple robot for Maverick. I love Ramatra. A lot of brawl potential and a lot of damage. Or we could switch to the other purple guy. I mean, that's fine too. He's still purple. Or Diva. She's got purple face paint.
Thank you.
I have a penchant for the color purple. We're all learning things about each other today. That's good. That's why I like a Duck on Quack's bow. Purple. See? It all comes together for ILIAD Artemis. We got a theme going on here. So it looks like we are going to switch off of that Diva. Hanzo pick for a Duck on Quack has a lot of potential for quick burst of damage if you're able to find it. High ground. Gotten for them, but Buto does get picked off by Gorillas there, so the push for ILIAD Artemis is stymied just a bit. When it comes to trying to get this King's Row cap, that first one, in my eyes, you're definitely looking to get that high ground in the back, try to contest that up there. That way you can cast freely down on the peasants below. And if you're Emote down mid, you're just seeking to take the fight to them. Fighting on the point, in my eyes, is not ideal for Emote down mid. There's a teleport from Symmetra. Emote down mid starts chasing after Artemis, but we are on the point at this point. Symmetra turrets dealing quite a bit of damage, but not enough. Gorilla goes down, and without the healing, victory is soon to follow. 2 people dead. For Emote down mid, it's going to give Artemis the advantage they need to start looking at the point. Turn around, grab Kashir. Industrial is going insane. And that is going to be a very quick capture there for ILIAD Artemis, but that's only part 1. Now we have to start pushing this cart through the streets of England. And that in and of itself is a danger. Hi. Hello. So, this first stretch is always kind of tough. It's the longest one. There are a handful of choke points as well. And kind of dangerous for ILIAD Artemis. Emote down mid. With this Genji swap too, it's going to be really solid at harassing that Hanzo. Sunail comes out. Artemis is looking to make the push. A Maywall cuts off the options for Django. They are not able to escape. And that is another couple of picks there. Maverick is pouring on the damage. As ILIAD Artemis says, yeah, we're not too afraid or worried about what's to come. We're going to start walking it down towards that first point. Got a lot of switches out coming from Emote down mid. Django moves over to the Orisa pick. Kashir now on the Pharah, looking for some air superiority. Notably, not that many hit scans from ILIAD Artemis. Like, yeah, the Hanzo should be able to pick him off, but still, tough spot to be in. Victory finds the last hit on top of a Duck on Quack. They get their ult out, but at what cost? And the shots coming out for Victory here are going to be more than enough. Maverick goes in looking for the damage that they need, but Victory shuts it down. And the push from ILIAD Artemis has been stopped, if only for a bit. You got 3.5 minutes or so left, though. give or take a few seconds. So Artemis is feeling pretty good about this. Emote down mid's feeling pretty good about this, just so that they have a chance to breathe. A couple of ultimates online for EDM as well. Namely, that Kiriko is going to be the big one. That's the game changer. But with that May Blizzard, if you can find a good place to put that, wrap it around the back maybe. That'll be the moment that you're looking for. Both teams staring at each other, waiting for that chance to go in and breathe. There's the speed boost from Lucio. The beat is available, and there it goes. Drops down. The May Blizzard as well. ILIAD Artemis looking to try to buy that last bit of space that they need, but Victory popped their ultimate, and that is going to be scary enough to scare away ILIAD Artemis from going any further. Now we go back to the staring contest. Mardox with their own Kiriko ultimate. Offers quite a bit of damage. Down goes the Duck on Quack. The Pharah ultimate doing quite a bit. Being able to back away as well. Django looking to sink the shots in. Has to back up to get the heal off. Artemis as well, thinking a similar story as they're like, maybe we don't want to full commit onto this anymore. We're gonna go and heal back up. This is one of those choke points that's kind of hard to get to. Because the turn in the street, the angle, there's no great places to look for high ground if you're the attacker's side. Oh, saucy pick. A Duck on Quack. 90% on the ult charge. Looking to get that last bit of damage that they need so they can let it rip. Django takes quite a bit of poke here, getting run down by Artemis. The cart as well, getting pushed forward, making that last push in. Orisa ultimate sucks it in, and the damage is not quite there. In fact, Django gets turned around on. And the point is captured by ILIAD Artemis. Maverick getting in there, getting schnazzy with a Kashir. Finds a pick on top of Duck on Quack, but immediately chased down by the Diva. The Death's getting a little bit staggered here. ILIAD Artemis keeps the push on forward in EDM. Backs up and regroups. Another breather. Another moment. ILIAD Artemis has been playing this map significantly better. We did the last two. Really feels like they found their stride. They have found what works for them. Especially, I knew it from the moment I saw it. This Duck on Quack Hanzo pick has been putting in a lot of work. Mardox has the ult. We also have this Diva bomb as well. There's the go button, and they are in that. Still no picks out just quite yet. As soon as Artemis wanted to go in, they weren't able to quite commit. Diva bomb in the back. It connects on top of Kashir. The Symmetra is down. But it's going to be the Kiriko ult in response. Artemis gets pushed back. The Tracer gets picked off. And Emote down mid are able to hold the line for just a little bit longer. This looks like a reset from Artemis. Just trying to keep the death timers in sync. Making sure that they don't plat walk into Emote down mid and end up getting picked one after the other. Only got a couple of minutes left to play with. No ultimates available, but you can see EDM is going to have that Lucio ult pretty soon around that corner. It's going to do quite a bit to keep that team alive and running. Where do you go from here? We're up top. Looking for a couple of picks. Mobuto switched over to that Genji instead of the Tracer. Earns high ground for Artemis as they look for their shot in. Trying to find the target. Duck on Quack gets picked off by Kashir. So Artemis is kind of playing this waiting game here. Do you want to take that fight, a player down? 1 minute remaining. You might not have a choice, but down goes Django. With the frontliner down, that could be the go-in button for ILIAD Artemis. Diva's taking quite a bit of poke. Ultimates are coming up online. Beat drops for EDM. Artemis backs up and then gets ready for the re-engage. Kitsune. Dropped by Mardox. The ultimate as well there from Django. Catches a couple people and puts them down. The Freya and the Kiriko. No longer for this world. 30 seconds left. Just a little bit more to go here. Industrial and Maverick are going to have their ultimates ready to go soon. Mobuto, I fear, won't have the blade online unless we get a chance to go into overtime. EDM plays it forward. They don't want ILIAD to touch if they can avoid it. Victory looks for that high ground. 3 seconds left. They just got to go for the touch. The May wall blocks them off. And we're in there for overtime. ILIAD ARTEMIS. There's the beat drop. Trying to see if they can find Victory and take him off, but the damage is too much. Down goes Mabuto, and Victory finds a duck on Quack as well. But Maverick finds a huge Diva Bomb. Takes 2 off the board. ILIAD ARTEMIS is not out of this quite yet. Down goes Kashir, and they're starting to walk it up. One last pick remains, but the respawns from EDM are going to be here in time because all they got to do is touch it. Here they come. Victory moves over to the Widow switch. Genji Blade comes out. Looking for the targets. Django's dead. Maverick's in the mix. There's the May ultimate as well, but it's just not quite enough there. ILIAD ARTEMIS starts cleaning it up. 3 picks for 1. As ILIAD crosses the finish line. And a strong start for King's Row. Very well played from ILIAD ARTEMIS, able to keep the momentum going, but you have to give the laurels over to EDM, who were able to hold that point just before that first section pretty effectively. It's always so tough trying to get that last push into King's Row, but ARTEMIS did a pretty good job keeping that momentum, but not being afraid to swap, to experiment, to try new things. I mean, Mabuto was able to switch over to that Genji pick instead of sticking on top of the Tracer. There was quite a bit going for them there. But now the ball goes to EDM's court, as they are going to be on the attacking side. And if we were able to know anything or learn anything from EDM in the last map, it's that their aggression is pretty strong. They're very good at playing that forward step character style that I think could give ARTEMIS a bit of a run for their money. These teams are very evenly matched, which does make for some pretty good Overwatch to be watching ourselves. So here comes Emote down mid. Looks like they're sticking similar comp that they had before. The Freya for Victory is going to be pretty interesting to watch. The Bolas, when it gets a chance to come out, it's going to cause some havoc. Duck on Quack gets picked off. Not a good start for ILIAD ARTEMIS. It looks like Maverick soon to follow. Tries Lucio Mike to get away. It's just not quite enough, and left behind is Mabuto and Mardog. They're going to go down. A swift cap from Emote down mid, to be expected from them, honestly. Very aggressive team, very offensive styled. If there's one thing they like to do, it's gotta be W keying at people. So you put them in a game mode where you let them do that, you can definitely expect them to make it happen. It's gonna be a Ramacha switch over for Maverick as well. Definitely looking to be a little bit more brawl-centric. The Freya pickup for Duck on Quack, too. Moving away from the bow, but staying in the crossbow era. We're just not a big fan of guns around here. There's the Bolas. A little bit off the mark. Not quite able to find what they need to, but they do find Mabuto. Victory for Emote down mid. He's such a strong player that I feel needs to be acknowledged. Definitely doing a lot of work for this EDM team as they just start moving this payload down. We are coming to that first bend that can be very troublesome for the attacking side. So ILIAD ARTEMIS does have a chance to slow this down and maybe force the game to their own pace. Reinhardt's going to be able to do quite a bit. Django doesn't have the Shatter online quite yet, but we do have the Kiriko ultimate for Gorilla. Ardox has got there as well. ARTEMIS walks up. Kitsune's out. ILIAD ARTEMIS looks for their way in, but we don't have that many other go buttons to follow it up with. Emote down mid, though, have no such reservations. Walking up, Shatter available for Django. No longer. Olus from Quack. And the blade from Kashir is gonna take Quack out of the sky. A duck lost its wings today. Tit for tat between both sides. Beat drops for Emote down mid. Ramacha is getting into the mix. Pulse bomb, a little bit off the mark. Artemis desperately trying to keep EDM away from this point, but EDM is having none of it as they keep that slow march forward. Naruto, as well as Maverick, able to keep Kashir in check. If there's one thing I like about the Ramacha pick is that it's pretty good into that Genji. Between the ultimate and the fists. Deflect my punch, loser, right? Like Bolus is up for victory. The rest of EDM don't have their ultimates available yet. The economy has been tough. It feels like the moment we get them, we gotta let them rip. Speaking of, it's all for ult. Bolus and the beat drop, ILIAD Artemis are keeping EDM away from the point. Being able to take down victory will be instrumental in stopping EDM's push. The amount of star power attached to that player is kind of intense. Victory's been definitely on it, so taking them off the board does leverage a pretty significant advantage. As Mabuto sneaks some damage through the Reinhardt shield on top of the Lucio, Artemis surges forward, just looking for those last few picks. Keeping Emote down mid as far away from this push as possible. Pulse bomb. And the spirits available for ILIAD Artemis. A couple of solid offensive tools, because a good offense is the best defense. Looks like they just want to play with the space a little bit. I mean, Emote down mid, they could at this stage just kind of charge some time for some ults. Kiriko Wall comes out, Shatter comes out as well, but no follow-up. Reinhardt gets stuck by the pulse bomb, but Mabuto pays for it with his life, so it'll be the 1-for-1 trade there. As the payload continues to move forward, Victory pours the damage on top of Maverick. Trapped in that house is this Ramacha. It's a tough place to be in, especially because it's actually the Kiriko that ends up paying the ultimate price. Ramacha ultimate comes out, and at this point, all of this benefits ILIAD Artemis. It's keeping EDM away from the point. They're happy to play this game. Just hoping to play with that space so that Emote down mid can't touch that last point. You got about 40 seconds to go. You're gonna have beat drop, Genji blade combo here for Emote down mid. 30 seconds left on the clock. EDM sizes it up. Genji blade comes out, reflecting some damage, looking to get in on top of the Lucio. Industrial goes down. Kashir looks for the next target, is not able to find the last hit they need, but one pick is all it's gonna take, as Ramacha will be the next one to fall. Kashir credited with that kill, and Victory finds Kiriko in the back. And just like that, Emote down mid continue their charge. Cross that threshold. In overtime, mind you. So there's only a minute 30 left to defend for ILIAD Artemis. But that type of momentum swing can get very dangerous. ILIAD Artemis have the Tracer Bomb online. Pulse goes out. It doesn't find the mark. Victory, though. Well, the bomb's a little bit too effective. It takes both Tracers out. Kiriko ult from Gorilla, trying to salvage something from the fight, but ILIAD Artemis mounting the defensive of a lifetime, able to find a couple of picks. No Ryan and no Genji. Means that Emote down mid do not get to push forward the way that they want to. A lot of tools used there. ultimately to not find what you're looking for. Beat drop. Up for mid. Here's the Kiriko ultimate, the Reinhardt. Going all the way towards the back. 20 seconds left. Artemis have beat drop and bolus. They just gotta buy themselves a little bit of space. Here comes Django with the shatter. Where can he put it? He wants to land it. He has to land it. Somebody has to touch it from EDM. 5 seconds left. Django's in there. He's waiting for that perfect moment to be able to drop that shatter. You have to do it before you die, though. Getting flanked on and no shield. Gorilla finds Mabuto. There's the shatter and the damage comes out. Beat drop from ILIAD Artemis is not enough. Maverick is down in the pulse bomb. It's not finding the damage that they were hoping for. We're in overtime, but Django does not care. It's his time. He starts moving down this payload. It does seem. Emote down mid. Only 2 meters left are stopped. ILIAD Artemis start pouring out of the base, trying to see what they can find. Maverick's got the ultimate, but can he get it off? There it goes. Beat drop from Emote down mid, and Kashir's just waiting to get that blade online. Kiriko ultimate as well, just trying to keep the fight going. But no Lucio means that the sustain from Emote down mid is going to be significantly less than Kashir with the blade. Gets shut down. Mabuto finds the pick. ILIAD Artemis putting it all on the line here, just trying to stop Emote down mid from going in. Quack on Duck takes down the tank, and that'll be enough as ILIAD Artemis win the second map. They hold on, just barely there. Holy cats, man. Fragile flower. Yeah, right. Victory is anything but a fragile flower. Oh my goodness. It was hard fought from both sides there, but ultimately ILIAD Artemis was able to have the right resources up at the right time, especially at the end there. Emote down mid put a lot into that final push, but 2.77 meters away means that they just did not have enough gas in the tank to stand up to the defense from ILIAD Artemis. They all came out of the base like a swarm of ants. It's like, there he is, get him! So, there's a good shatter too from Django. All eyes were on that Reinhardt to see if they can get that fight started, but it really did feel like another tipping point there at the end. Kashir was able to get that Genji blade going, but just was not able to find the mark for it. A crazy pick from the Tracer of ILIAD Artemis was able to shut that down real quick. So we'll have ourselves a one-to-one map situation. It's like I said before, ILIAD Artemis playing that information game, seeing what they can find from Emote down mid. Does look like we'll be headed to Esperanza coming up next here. So it's going to be a push map. So push maps are interesting. I have I don't want to call it a love-hate relationship with push maps. It's not that serious. We're just friends, but you know, it's like an on again, off again thing. You know, are we, aren't we? We got dinner a few times. Did we want it to be more? I don't know. So, but when it does come to these push maps with the bots going back and forth, there's always some interesting tech that can happen where you can position the bot, especially when it comes to those end game times. How applicable it is always kind of a coin toss, but this is the most momentum-based game mode I think I've seen so far. Where it really just comes down to if you can win hard, you can just walk away with it. This is a little scary for ILIAD Artemis in my eyes. Because EDM, to me, they've struck me as a momentum-based team. You let them gain momentum, you let them take those first few forward steps and get aggressive. They are going to push that for everything that it's worth. But I will say that ILIAD Artemis has had a pretty solid response to that. They have not been too willing to go too hard and, you know, plat walk at people, die one after the other. Being able to regroup is very good there. Bans coming out from both sides. Sojourn from ILIAD Artemis makes a lot of sense. Victory was looking very strong on that. And the Roadhog ban away from Emote down mid means that Artemis won't be able to lean on that either. A lot of tank bans from Emote down mid, almost exclusively tank bans as well. Tells you who they are afraid of. Definitely trying to keep Maverick off of their footing with limited success, I'd say. The Ramattra from Maverick has been looking pretty solid. Been a big fan of that when it shows up, so I don't think they're too worried about anything going forward here. But the Sojourn Band is going to hit victory pretty hard. They do still have that Tracer or the Freya in their back pocket. That Sojourn put in quite a bit of work, especially in that last map.
Ready for battle.
It's map 3! Esperanza. ILIAD Artemis, Emote down mid. We're 1-1 so far. But this is going to be a breakneck pace map. I can feel it in my bones.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Taking a quick look at the pause menu. Anyways, taking just a quick look at some of the picks that we had out there, you know, initially. I'm excited to see the hamster kind of make its return there. The Freya as well was looking pretty appealing, especially there for Quack on Duck. Being able to have that in their back pocket. The Bolas especially has been pretty effective in these team fights. I'm wondering if Kashir sticks to the Symmetra pick or if that's just to get out of the base, which is what I typically see these Symmetras used in for. We did see a Symmetra lock in for the King's Row defense for EDM, where it was able to put in a bit of work there. But for a push map like this, I don't know if I'm sold on keeping Symmetra on the main roster just because you're constantly moving. You don't have the opportunity to set things up. As we jump back in here, and it does look like Kashir moves off of the Symmetra and on to the... Excuse me while I forgot Reaper's name for a moment. A long day, it would seem. On to the Reaper. The voice in my head was like, Death Blossom bot. And I was like, well, okay, yes, but no, right? Like, he's, come on. He's more than an ultimate. Stop bullying Reaper 2025. A little bit of scuffling around the bot. Mobuto did not catch the memo and bullied out Kashir on that Reaper, but Duck on Quack will be paying their life in response. We're off that Reaper and onto the Genji. So Cardifan's back on the Hammond pick, and it looks like it's here to stay. I like that for Emote down mid just because it enables them to play very aggressively. It buys a lot of space, especially for Victory and their supports, because ILIAD Artemis is going to be putting a lot of focus and attention onto this rolling hamster ball. It's a difficult target to hit, and after enough time passes, they're going to be laying down those landmines, and there's a lot of survivability here too. Being able to have that shield. What's my damage? I missed a joke, surely. Was it 69? Because if it wasn't 69, then what are we doing, gamers? I know 6'7" is the new funny number, but I'm old and I don't like change, so it was 6'7"? Alright. 6'7" is not the funny number. Alright, 69 is the funny number. I don't care if I'm old man yelling at clouds, okay? I don't know what this 6'7" nonsense is. I'm not on the tic-tac. But I know 69 is a good and it's classic. Funny number is funny. The other funny number is 420. Thank you for coming to my tech talk. Cardi fan took Mobuto to class and back because they were able to find them and pick them off. Looks like Emote down mid starts pushing down to that first checkpoint, but bot hasn't quite made up its mind yet. Duck on Quack finds the pick, and the Kiriko ultimate comes out 1-for-1 here. Nobody's quite ready to taste blood yet. Both teams still sizing each other out. Minefield available for the Hammond. Emote down mid are gonna pop it so that they can try to confirm that bot push. And the real strength of that hamster ball come up here, just latching on to the bot and swerving around in a circle. Quite literally throwing it in a circle. Cardifan's putting in a lot of work here. 2 meters until that checkpoint. Emote down mid earns themselves that forward spawn, and the momentum that we were talking about earlier is going to start coming into play. Mobutu switches over to the Sombra pick. I like that in response to the Hammond. If you can hack that hamster ball, good luck, by the way, but if you can hack that hamster ball, It takes away a lot of the mobility and a lot of survivability of that character. Anti-Blade comes out for the sole purpose of killing a Kiriko. Seeing if we can maybe find some more value off of that D.Va. Trying to get up and away, Kashir giving chase. Realizes he's got to get back to his team. And D.Va's out of mech, so she's just kind of stuck for a bit too. You don't really have to keep chasing after that. Emote down mid takes control of the bot once again, trying to push it back over towards that forward spawn because Artemis was able to sneakily shove it back for a bit. There's the hack onto the Hammond, but it's Suzu'd and saved. So the Hammond's able to get back into safety. Keep an eye out for that Sombra ult when it does come online. If it's able to connect on top of that Hammond, no Suzu in the world helps you there. Hacked again. Junker Queen, able to put the damage on and in. Arnox falls in the back though. Tracer Pulse comes out, not able to find the mark. The switches from ILIAD Artemis have been doing pretty well here for them so far. Sombra, I think, is a great response to the Hammond, and Maverick back on the Junker Queen. We talk about momentum for these kinds of maps. Junker Queen has a lot of it, being able to just constantly run at you. Pretty solid amount of sustain, as well as anti-heal. It's pretty good for them, Mobuto. Trying to find that ultimate. I imagine they've got that lights out, catches the Hammond right as he lets rip his ultimate, so he's able to actually get away. Kiriko ultimate will be enough to chase after that Hammond. ILIAD Artemis are surging forward, trying to see if they can get towards that forward spawn. You got a bit of a trek to get there, though. Doesn't look like EDM wants to give it up. Ashir finds Industrial in the sky. In the sky, they are safe. Gorilla is not, though, but victory. Back on this Tracer pick is starting to cause some trouble for ILIAD Artemis. Puts the pressure on as Emote down mid tells ILIAD to sit down and settle down for a moment. The adults are in the room and we are trying to talk. Completely unrelated. Big fan of this Pharah skin. So cool. But I'm a sucker for edgelord stuff, so we're all learning things about each other today. Emote down mid. Continues the push. They got the bot up there and forward. Kiriko ult comes out from Emote down mid. It looks like they're able to find some value. ILIAD Artemis trying not to give up any ground whatsoever. Pharah ultimate comes out. He's able to find some value there. Maverick and Mobuto are down, so the push from EDM is good. Duck on Quack dies in the back. So it looks like we're gonna have to mount a defense a little bit closer to home. Start digging in those trenches. Rev up those fryers. I sure am hungry for a tasty victory. Emote down mid wants to take a bite out of ILIAD Artemis, but Artemis has to deny them this. Pulse Bomb is available for Duck on Quack, looking to see if it can find its mark. Beat drop for EDM, doesn't matter. Cardigan goes down to Duck on Quack as they're able to pick off that tank. Still gotta find a place for this Pulse Bomb, but bullets work just fine. Quack goes crazy before they go down. Feathers are plucked. It's victory. He's actually gonna be left here. Sticks on top of the Junker Queen, and the damage is good. But still trying to play around with that Kiriko. Being a Tracer player must be such a headache all the time. Having to look around like that. So much victory is kind of sick with it. But Artemis pushes the bot back out. It's not real control. It's just trying to buy themselves some space before Emote start running it back down mid. Ready for the rest of the team. The minefield is ready for Cardigan. But they're being harassed. Kiriko ultimate here for ILIAD Artemis. And the Hammond ultimate as well. It's a dangerous spot to be in. It doesn't look like it's able to get too much damage off. Mobuto finds the Pharah in the sky, comes back down with the hack. Has the lights out available to them, but still looking for the target. Emote down mid, trying to buy some more time, but it'll be a game of seconds for EDM. Mabuto's looking pretty good on this Sombra, putting in a lot of damage, a lot of work. Victory's gonna be out there in no man's land, stuck between a rock and a hard place, deep in enemy territory.
Forward spawn.
Forward spawn is lost for Emote down mid. They just have to try to stop Iliad from getting too close to their own forward spawn. Victory harassing the Sombra in the back, lights out, connects. It costs the life of the Lucio. Artemis fighting on the top ground, take down the Hammond, who took a little bit more than maybe they thought they could handle. Trying to isolate that Kiriko in the background. Now the attention's turned over towards that Pharah. The Duck on Quack definitely needed some help with that Kiriko. Those kunais do quite a bit of damage here. Mardox is gonna show you.
Time for the reckoning.
Up goes Pharah, ultimate in pocket. They let it rip, justice from above, but Junker Queen hides inside the building to escape the damage and into the loving arms of Mardox, who punches Lucio in the face. Maverick says, "Be not afraid, kitten, get behind me." I'm about to push for this forward spawn as they get that triple kill.
30 seconds remaining.
Only 30 seconds left on the clock. For these push maps, you always forget that there's a timer in the background. Because usually a team's able to just shove it down super hard, but it's so neck and neck. Alien Artemis has still got a trek ahead of him though. Ult for ult so far. It's a staring contest. There's the Kiriko ult for EDM. As well as a couple of beat drops exchange. Victory has the pulse bomb looking for the target, but it does not connect. You know what does connect though? A couple of picks. Down go a tank and a support for EDM. We're in overtime. ILIAD Artemis has got one last chance to push this down, and they've got a good step forward in order to make it happen. Chasing out Victory, who in turn is trying to get chased out. Couple more picks for ILIAD Artemis as they start walking it up. Emote down mid have this time and space though. They don't have to chase right on top of that bot. They can just regroup and fight together, and that's gonna be the plan. They cannot stand to get picked and plat walk in one after the other. Staggering those death timers is not an option, but that is going to buy a little bit of time for the ultimates of ILIAD Artemis. In the air is the Sombra trying to get the lights out, connects on top of Hammond. Down goes the Hamster, and a squeaky clean getaway from the Sombra to get back into the thick of things. ILIAD Artemis still pushing, eliminates Victory. The pulse bomb, it's good. Down goes the Lucio, and ILIAD Artemis walks away with the second map win, walking it all the way back. Just as EDM looks like they were gonna walk away with the map too. They were aggressive, they were pushing it, they were looking so good, but I'll tell you this right now, not good enough. Mardox playing the game. Earned, man, that's crazy. Oof, that'll hurt. That'll hurt too. Jeez Louise. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. This Hammond pick for Emote down mid was doing quite a bit of work. It's so aggressive, it buys so much space, but the switch to Sombra shut that down so quickly. Even though you weren't always able to reliably get the main hack off, that lights out is unavoidable. And for a Hammond to be hacked, it's just a death sentence. ILIAD Artemis pounces on the opportunity right away. And the 1v1s between Duck on Quack and Victory, being able to shut down Victory is huge. As long as that Tracer is not able to find the value in their damage and in their kills, then what is she even doing there anyways? I think a couple of missed pulse bombs also aided in the defeat of Emote down mid. They weren't quite able to land the abilities the way that they were hoping to. But you really do just have to give it up. I think Mabuto and Mardox looked crazy in this set, and Duck on Quack was also able to show up. ILIAD Artemis definitely on a bit of a hot streak here. As we're moving to Watch Point Gibraltar, a classic map. Always love me a little bit of the Gibraltar action, where heroes like to gather. It is gonna be a little tricky though. Watch Point Gibraltar being one of those escort maps where, especially that last push in my eyes, can get really dicey for the attacking team, just because the spawn's like right there, right? So there's also that there's a couple points in my mind where it gets kind of tricky for the attacking side. Underneath the bridge, pushing through that first point, I think is a good spot for the defending team to be able to hold on there. That whole stretch can get kind of weird. And then the hangar, in my eyes, is not the worst thing to push through on the attacker side, but that last point, that's do or die, man. That either you breeze through it or you are stuck there for 5 million years, right? As we move towards match point Gibraltar, it's gonna be, this is map 3 for ILIAD Artemis if they are able to walk away with this, because it is the first of 3 maps. But for Emote down mid, I don't see them giving this up. Something in my heart and soul tells me we're going to 5. That might just be the person in me that wants to watch more of these teams go crazy at each other, but that's kind of where my soul's telling me. Band's coming out here. Hazard's going to be the band from Emote down mid. We did see Maverick lean towards the Hazard a couple of times, but I almost wonder if you look at a Junker Queen or a Ramatra or something along those lines. And this might just be recency bias, but that looked pretty good. Or a Sombra band as well. If you know you want to run that Hammond, Sombra might not be a terrible band here. But it is going to be that Hazard that's off the board. For ILIAD Artemis, thinking to myself, like, what's the scary thing? What do we need to take away? You could maybe take Tracer away from Victory. You might be able to take away Hammond away from the tank of Emote down mid. Target bans are definitely on the board here and available. Or maybe you could just ban on something that's particularly good all the time, like just a generic ban. I wouldn't hate to see a Freya off the board. Really pigeonholed Victory into that Tracer or Sojourn playstyle. Because you know that Sojourn's going to be on his way back. He's going to be that Freya ban. That makes sense. She's a very good character. The Bolus comes out. She does a lot of damage. She's reliable in what she's able to do. Very consistent, I think, would be a good way to describe her. So, try to take away a little bit of that consistency. Try to bring yourself a little more volatility. Because variables are scary. And if you're Emote down mid, you're feeling a little bit of pressure. You're feeling a little bit of fear right now. So now, you don't have that consistency. You don't have that Freya, you know, where's my broken OP character? What the heck? You don't have that. You can't have her anymore. Banned and off the board. This is still an intense set of maps. ILIAD Artemis turned it around on map 2. It was close, but they got there. Map 3, another close but got there game. Emote down mid just have to get that last bit of follow through in order to finish up these maps. Just that last bit of oomph, that's all they need in order to be able to find that win. This is the moment. If there were ever a time to figure out if you've got that dog in you, I'd start barking. This is it. Collar on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a little tag. Home address on the back, and on the front says winner. But between ILIAD Artemis and FaceIt down, Emote down mid. Still a little bit of a toss-up. It's still very close. Emote down mid is right there. They are right there. And that turning point could be enough to carry them through not even this game, but to be a very real potential threat for ILIAD Artemis going into the next one. And if you're ILIAD Artemis, you've been locked in for a minute. You cannot lock out. You gotta stay in that zone. You cannot relent in the pressure. You cannot get comfortable with the fact that you have been winning. Alrighty, gamers. Match point for ILIAD Artemis, map 4 and Watch Point Gibraltar in the FaceIt League Season 6 Masters Lower R1. Do ILIAD Artemis take it all here, or do we go to a map 5? Emote down mid. We're moving back towards that Hammond pick. But ILIAD Artemis haven't quite swapped over to the Sombra yet. They're going to be on that defense.
Hello. Hello.
Said it's a couple
3,
of switch-ups here.
1. Attackers incoming.
Symmetric portal out. This all makes sense. In comes the Doomfist for Cardiff. Actually moves off of the Hammond and onto the Big Fister himself. Leans into that aggression still. Leans into a tank that can harass the backline. A lot of CC in that kit as well. Punch somebody off the ledge. Preferably not a diva. She'll just be able to fly back up. She's got those rocket jet boosters and all what have you. It's gonna be a swap to a Zarya. No, to the Hammond. The tried and true. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? We don't have to complicate things. We don't gotta put labels on anything. We can just be us together in our space. I'm a hamster in a ball, babe. I gotta roll. Looks like Emote down mid is rolling through at that point. Pushing forward, putting pressure on top of ILIAD Artemis. They're giving a little bit of ground, but that's because they want to post up and choose their fights. Kashir and Hardifin are able to buy quite a bit of space. This is on a discount, actually. We're just walking this up. No contestation at all. Artemis, you're defending. Get in there. There you go. The pick. Top of Kashir, victory. Looks forward to find a little bit more, but Industrial shuts down the tank of Emote down mid, and that is going to put an end to that. As ILIAD Artemis say, oh yeah, that's right. We have to, yeah, that's right. No, we knew that. Yeah. Defending. So we're not attack. No. Oh, okay. We fight him up here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Ultimate up for Mabutu. Who do you even transform into? What are the targets here? Honestly, Genji Blade looks pretty good. A lot of ultimates, almost all of them up for ILIAD Artemis, so just gotta be careful not to pop everything all at once. Just play the resource game. There's the first one, there's the second one. Diva Bomb. A little bit off the mark. Doesn't matter, Kashir's gonna fall. Mabutu with that beam, a great counter against Genji. Can't deflect that. Hammond ultimate finds two on top of the point. Cardiff shows why they constantly come back to the hamster and ball pick as Emote down mid find that first one, and Cardiff just finds so many kills with those little landmines. I'm switching back to Sombra. Me personally, we gotta acknowledge this Hammond. It just does so much for Emote down mid. And at this point, I think a lot of it has to do with comfortability for Cardiff in 22. The fact that they're just able to look and feel so good on this pick. You feel good, you play good. Uto's feeling pretty good too. Swaps over to the Tracer. Pulse Bomb's gonna be up pretty soon. 10 seconds left inside that ultimate. Gotta try to make it last. Oh, goes very deep. Backs up. We're chilling. Not able to find the kill, but that's okay. You know, you got your value. You pushed off EDM for just a little bit. 3 minutes left in play. And a lot of ultimates for EDM. This next push is going to be devastating. Laid up for Kashir. That's where my eyes are. But I like how Marduk's is playing this, staying very aggressive on top of this Genji. Meanwhile, the other tank is thinking a similar game. His pain goes down, but Kashir's not able to get away from that Genji. Here comes the Kiriko ult. Punches Marduk's in the face like a G. EDM looking to try to surge forward. Mabutu goes down. A couple of picks should be enough to buy the space that EDM wants to be able to get that next point. There's the ultimate from Hammond as well. Do you want to talk about area denial? That's the one. Again, crazy value. He can't keep getting away with this. Emote down mid has been having a very solid push here. And I am attributing a lot of it to this Hammond. I'm attributing most of it to this Hammond. Is it the novelty of a hamster in a tank? Maybe. Or maybe it's the fact that Cardigan is just kind of like that. 2 kills from the Blade with Kashir. Going in, trying to see if they can find a third. Victory will be able to pick it up, and the D.Va comes out of the mech. This push from Emote down mid, a team kill, is looking very strong, and now we're switching to the Sombra ourselves. Stolen technology. Stolen valor. But it will be very good for shutting down this D.Va. Won't be able to have that defense matrix. And Maverick's going to be looking for that Genji. They're not going to find him. They're going to find that Sombra instead. Kiriko ult comes out. ILIAD ARTEMIS hoping to make a play here. Keep EDM from getting too close. Mobutu. Running out some damage. They'll have the ultimate online soon. Looks like EDM regrouping and trying to find their way back in. Kashir just switches to a bunch of different picks, and Cardigan moves off of the Hammond, oddly enough. Back onto that Zarya. So a Cassie and a Zarya in the mix now. And Correa has the bomb available. But who do you even stick that on? It's got to be either Victory or Kashir. And what Kashir's job is in this moment, I suspect, is to look for Mobutu and take them out. But man, if that burst damage is not tough to deal with. Looks like ILIAD was able to slow down EDM for a bit. They are on the point though, moving things forward. A little bit of a stealth push. Not one to win the game, but one to keep Artemis afraid. Keep them awake and alert. Artemis has been doing a pretty good job slowing down the momentum of Emote down mid. I like the way that they have been playing this last point, not very afraid to fight, trying to keep the fight away from the point. Target call out there. Looks like they want to take care of that Zarya. And I especially like the way that Mobutu has been positioning themselves out, making sure that they're not caught by the Cassidy. Kiriko for Kiriko, ultimate Mobutu doing a crazy amount of damage. It's a couple of picks. It's more than a couple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Overwatch players going crazy on map 4. Musi, did you rhyme 4 with 4? I do not want to talk about it. Deadeye ready for Kashir. Victory's got their ultimate too. Those are a couple of swing ultimates. Definitely something that can cause problems for ILIAD Artemis. We got 30 seconds left to play with and a couple of ultimates in play for Artemis. There's Deadeye, but the transform from Mobutu saves them and actually ends up killing Kashir. 13 seconds left. Artemis needs this defense. Zarya's looking pretty low. Cardigan chased out and dead. Industrial down at 3 seconds. Emote down mid, just looking to touch. Gober goes for it. Beat is dropped. They touch it, but the D.Va bomb puts his health down low. Down goes Victory and Gober. And Emote down mid is shoved away. A successful defense from ILIAD Artemis. Now all they have to do is win a single map here in Watchpoint Gibraltar. They don't even gotta go the full distance. It's just a little bit. It was a good rush from Emote down mid, but we switched off of the Hammond that I really felt like was doing so much for them. I wonder what their reasoning was for that, why it stopped working for them. ILIAD Artemis, especially looking at Mobutu, just putting out crazy amounts of damage and never dying. It felt like they never really got truly punished, even when Kashir moved over to this Cassidy pick. The hit scan character was not enough to deal with the flying one. That game of rock, paper, scissors that we all play in our heads when it comes to these hero picks just did not pan out. Dude pulled out a laser. You're like, that's against the rules. It's like, actually, no, I'm playing house rules. And who the heck plays house rules rock, paper, scissors? That's crazy talk. Anyways, ILIAD Artemis pulled out the laser. And that sense of indignation is something that Emote down mid's gonna be feeling. Now they're on the defense. not their strongest suit. But in that same sense, ILIAD Artemis, I feel, functions a bit better on the defensive side than the offensive side. Not a lot of changes happening in the team comps. We're back to the Hammond for Cardiff, and I like that. Last time, Artemis kind of gave up this first point. It'll be interesting to see how Emote down mid handles it. Mobutu getting looked at. The shots just a little bit off the mark. Victory not able to land it. Interesting that Victory's on the Cassidy this time instead of Kashir. Looks like they swap picks. Victory's sole job is to kill Mobutu, and Mobutu's sole job is to not die. Like, that is really just how it's gonna be. Fighting for the high ground up there. Artemis needs a couple of picks before they get too crazy. They jump down, look for the picks, got a couple people locked in a corner. Maverick finds the damage they need, and Hammond's gotta get out of there, but Victory gets caught in the crossfire, and Cardiff is just completely dipped. Looking to save their life until the rest of their team can come back and regroup. Artemis plays up. Slowly moving up that payload, a lot of patience here. We don't have eyes on that Hammond. Ultimate's coming online for ILIAD Artemis as well. Got 4 reaching that 80% mark. Mobutu arguing on the top with Gorilla. Kiriko Ultimate comes out, but Mobutu does fall down. That's a lot of damage to be losing at a very critical push. How much does it slow down ILIAD Artemis? In goes Kashir with this Genji pick. Maverick's out of the mech, and we're back in it once again. Beat is dropped for Artemis, as well as Emote down mid. Extra health bars to be playing with. Still, no deaths quite yet. This time being bought benefits Emote down mid. They're happy to try to draw out this clock as much as possible. Victory's got the bomb, throws it out, it connects. Damage is good, down goes the D.Va. Baby D.Va comes out, and looks like Gomer is going nuts. Victory finds themselves a pick on top of Mobutu as well. But with the Hammond field out there, it's gonna be impossible to touch for a bit. ILIAD Artemis push is stopped. Still have a minute or so left to play. But everything was in Artemis's favor in that push. They had the ult economy. It was definitely their moment to get in there.
Thank you for the assistance.
Now we come back again. Keeping that forward aggression, trying to keep that Genji off of his toes. Picks off Victory, Tracer down, Kashir soon to follow. Maverick finds the kill. ILIAD Artemis, 2 players up, look to try to get that last bit of push onto the point. Emote down mid, just trying to argue as much as they can and keep him off of it. Ultimately futile, but worth it. So you can try to drain out that clock. Genji blade comes out. Hold on, maybe it's not futile. Maybe it is. Oh nah. Unfortunately able to shut him down. 0.35 meters. You just need a little bit more. You just need a little bit more to get through there. D.Va bomb comes out. Hit markers, but doesn't get kills. We have to Kiriko ult in order to clean this up. Emote down mid, fighting tooth and nail just to hold this. Drags the clock out. The point is acquired. You've only got 2.5 minutes to push through to the next one. So a lot of momentum is going to be needed for ILIAD Artemis. That's something the Emote down mid is willing to give up easily. Fighting on top of the jet. Staying on that high ground. Maverick's still looking to see who they can pressure out. They're gonna look for Genji, more than likely. D.Va grown in a lab to harass this Genji. Mobutu has the ultimate available. There's the damage from the beam. Looking for another pick, but not quite able to find it. Chasing after Lucio. Beat drop from Emote down mid, but to no avail. Maverick still able to find that kill. Artemis pushes through the hangar, which we knew going forward, hangar, not a very defensible spot. Oops, the Hammond off, gets the minefield out though. Looks like Mobutu transforms into the Hammond themselves. Maybe they can get their own minefield off to keep Emote down mid from interacting with them too hard. Emote down mid though, simply takes the fight to them. Victory. Doing quite a bit, but ultimately picked off by Mobutu. Looks like Kashir's putting in some work as well. Mobutu not gonna let that stand. 60 seconds left. Mobutu going absolutely crazy. Victory comes back on that respawn.
I'm with you.
A minute left. ILIAD Artemis has an opportunity to kind of reset this fight. We had our big push there, tried to get it shoved across, it just didn't come out. Wait for the rest of the team. Don't overcommit for picks. In goes the Diva. Here comes the Genji Blade as well. Immediately shut down. Dude, Mobutu is crazy with this pick. And they are just laying on damage. Kill after kill. 18 seconds left. Emote down mid, desperate to keep ILIAD Artemis away, but they will not be denied. But now they've got one final stretch to go. 1 minute 30 seconds, map 4, match point for ILIAD Artemis, Emote down mid. Do not want to let this go. Maverick has the ultimate in pocket. Victory has theirs, and Gardafen will have that minefield as well. Important to keep eyes on. In the back, a little bit of havoc being caused. ILIAD Artemis is trying to keep Emote down mid from stopping their push, but this section of map is where Mobutu is going to feel very confident with this pick. They'll have ultimate online soon. 60 seconds left. We're building ult economy. Victory has the pulse bomb available. Looking for that moment to get the pick. Minefield came out from Gardafen there. Just trying to keep him off the point. Artemis happy to play this game. Wait out the mines before full committing. 30 seconds. Ultimate from Mobutu. Going in there. Beat drop from Emote down mid. Kuriko ult probably soon around the corner. Diva ult there. Who's it gonna catch? Maverick's actually just dead. With the tank down and 18 seconds left. That's not a good look for ILIAD Artemis. Emote down mid. Plays it forward. Kuriko ult comes out from ILIAD. And it's ult for ult. The Maverick goes in. He's not able to get there. Emote down mid finds 3 picks. Maverick is back, but all their friends are gone. We're in overtime, but ILIAD Artemis is not able to get there. Emote down mid. Win map 4 and bring us to map 5. And I had a feeling. I had the sneakiest of suspicions that would be the case. Did I low-key caster curse ILIAD Artemis? Low-key? But I wanted that game vibe banger. I won't lie to you. That's how it's gonna go. And ILIAD Artemis did pretty good on that push, and their defense was awesome, but it's just that last stretch that is so hard to deal with. And what really sealed the deal for Emote down mid was holding on for dear life on that first point. Dragging it to overtime right away just really hurt the time bank. ILIAD Artemis needed, if they had another minute to play with, I think they might have been able to get that last point. Maybe not even a minute, another 30 seconds. Time enough that after Maverick gets picked off, they can make that second push. But they did not get the chance, because Emote down mid held them off so firmly at this first one. They fought tooth and nail over it. Even in this second corridor, it always feels like a gimme part in the map where you're like, yeah, you know, you just kind of give this up, it's no big deal, but they fought tooth and nail all the way through. That gumption, that aggression, that zeal is gonna earn them the chance to go to map 5. And there it is. Woo! Ilios. I am on the edge of my seat. I'm not gonna lie. I think ILIAD ARTEMIS has a chance to be able to seal the deal here, but Emote down mid is starting to fight with such fervor that it's not a coin toss by any means. A coin toss implies some sense of chance, some sense of randomness. But what happens next on this map is not random. It is going to come down to who's got the dog, who's got the leash. Ilios as well, I think, is going to play pretty well for both teams. They really like to lean on the Lucio, so the boop potential is here. Pharah being a pick as well for Emote down mid is a little bit scary for ILIAD ARTEMIS going forward here. Again, for similar reasons for that Lucio. And if I'm ILIAD ARTEMIS, I'm banning the Hammond. It's got to be that. Yeah, there you go. Game 5, gonna come down to it. Take Cardifin off of the Hammond. Great call out. Great target band. If I'm Emote down mid, I'm not sure if there's any particular problem characters that ILIAD ARTEMIS have that Emote down mid don't want to keep for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you could ban the Lucio here. Just to say you did. The boot potential is so strong. But when you're so reliant on that pick, you're never willing to shoot yourself in the foot for the chance of it ricocheting and hitting your opponent, right? Unless you got steel feet. And a steel toe shoe will do quite a bit for you, but it does not ricochet bullets. To my knowledge, I have not shot myself in the foot while wearing a steel toe shoe. So maybe it could. But that's not for me to know. Some things you're just going to let go. You got to be comfortable with the fact that you're not going to know everything. Kind of like how we don't know what Emote down mid wants to ban right now. Still thinking about it. Still a lot of potential here. Maybe... No, they've already banned Roadhog once. Roadhog would have been another pick to take away here, actually. That hook is going to be causing havoc if it's able to connect. It is, in fact, going to be the Venture. Oh, you know what? They've got a little bit of... They've got some of that CC in their pocket as well. Haven't really been seeing too much Venture so far today. Haven't been seeing any Venture so far today at all, actually. When I get down to brass tacks. But taking away the possibility and just covering your corners, I think that's what this Venture ban is setting out to do. It's what they're venturing out to do, if you will. Huh? Huh? That's okay. So, we're just waiting a little bit. Lobby is on a brief hold. So while we wait for that to come online, it's just going to be you and me for a little bit. Get to go over how this game has been going so far. 2-2 at this stage. We're at map 5, and that's honestly, I think, what everybody was expecting going into this match. Both of these teams so evenly matched, just barely one-upping each other over and over and over again, even coming down to some of the individual play. I mean, I've been saying Victory's name over and over and over again. Mabutu has been showing up in my mouth a lot as well, just because of how well they've been able to play, but really, Overwatch 2 is a team game, and when it comes down to it, these teams are both looking really strong and really good. So it's gonna be another close one. It's gonna be another nail biter here on Ilios. So I hope you've got your popcorn ready. I hope you've got your drinks ready. I have an entire gallon of water next to me, so you should probably prep something similar. So it looks like we are getting ready to jump into it in just a bit here. When it comes to Ilios Gaming, I did touch a little bit earlier, talking about how CC is going to be very important, looking for boops. So Lucio, Pharah, Roadhog are some of my expected picks here. Just because you get a little bit of that cheese factor. A little bit of that cheese, some of that cheddar. Because honestly, whatever you got to do to win is what you're going to have to do. And we know that EDM is willing to pick up that Pharah and have success with it outside of booping people, mind you. It was looking pretty good when we saw it. So it'll be curious to see if we have that locked in again. And here we are. It's time. Map 5. Match point for both sides. It's all down to this. The FaceIt League Season 6 Masters Division Lower R1. And we are seeing quite a few things we have not been seeing before. The Wu Yang
5,
for both sides and a Doomfist for Cardigan. Denied the Hammond, they moved to their second pick. The Doomfist made a brief appearance in that Watch Point Gibraltar, but it didn't stick around. Now he's going to be forced to stay on it. Wu Yang is going to be an unknown element for both of these teams. So it'll be interesting to see how that faces up. Duck on Quack is going to be back on their Freya too. Looks like ILIAD ARTEMIS have control of the high ground points, but Emote down mid is there on top of the point. So they go for that early capture. ARTEMIS drops down to try to contest. We're in the thick of it. Down goes Cardigan. Trying to see what they can find. Stella gets picked off by Gorilla though. Wu Yang down for ILIAD ARTEMIS. That's a go button for Emote down mid. They swarm the point. Quack and Mardox are able to find a couple of picks, even as Kashir takes down Maverick. And Pain finding Kashir as well, but Emote down mid still take control of that point. ILIAD ARTEMIS gonna be seeking to regroup themselves. We try to stick on top of this point. You got a couple of people here. Tracer being annoying, getting into the mix. Just not enough. It's gonna be a regroup from EDM. Waiting for some of these ultimates to come online. Pulse Bomb is here for Pain. Sheer dies again. Pretty soon there too. Without the Reaper, that's gonna be tough to chew through that Diva health. But it doesn't seem like Emote down mid is too stressed. Which is good. You gotta keep your head in these situations. You cannot get too antsy. It's that fear. Fear is the mind killer. A little death. A big fist! It's off the mark. Cardigan's gonna be forced to go up. Meteor Strike. Who's the target? It's on top of the Wu Yang, but not quite able to find that damage. Kitsune back and forth for both sides. Gotta keep that Diva up and healthy. Cardigan is able to lock down on top of Stella. On the point though, ARTEMIS maintains control and is up taking percentages. Pain looks for Gorilla. Able to take them down. Wu Yang throws out that Tidal Blast. Pauline is getting quite a few picks. Looking pretty good here for Emote down mid. They're gonna go to try to take control back of the point. Just gotta clean up the last few couple of picks here. Wu Yang. An unknown element for both of these teams so far. Haven't really had a chance to see them pulled out, but map 5, you gotta pull out all the stops. Stella still got their blast ready to go. ARTEMIS is gonna be waiting for that go button. They do have a healthy amount of percentage to play with at this point, so they don't have to force anything quite yet. ARTEMIS playing for picks. There's the Tidal Blast, and goes Stella. Duck on Quack finds the pick, and she's got to get out of there. Pulse Bomb doesn't land. Artemis still hasn't been able to collapse onto the point quite yet. We're starting to build some charge, but we still need to get a few more picks. This Tracer would do quite nicely to make that happen. And down they go. 87% and climbing. Duck and Mardux have their ultimates available. Cardiffin is waiting for theirs. Sneaks onto the point, capturing ILIAD Artemis. Turns around to try to deal with them. Into the sky goes the Doomfist. Meteor Strike lands back down, and he is out of there. Waiting for the rest of the team. Into overtime we are. Kitsune ult trying to catch out Victory with the extra damage. It will be enough. Stella finds the last bit of damage that they need. Overtime touching once again. ILIAD Artemis playing the space very effectively. Kashir has the blade available. Looking for their time to go in. Blade is out. It connects. It finds the Wu Yang, but that's all it will find. Kashir falls down, and so does Gorilla. First point goes to ILIAD Artemis.
Score 0-1.
You only need one more. Artemis played that pretty well. They didn't panic when Emote down mid was able to retake the point after they built up a healthy amount of charge on top of that. Making sure that you look for your opportunity, not necessarily trying to force it, just waiting for that moment for it to come back up. The Wu Yang for Pauline was looking pretty good as well.
3, 2, 1.
Definitely a character with a lot of value. Cardiffin moves on to the Roadhog. And especially in Ilios Well, it is dangerous to be up against. That giant gaping pit in the middle. We are one hook away from disaster. You know Cardiffin's going to be looking for it. EDM. With the Symmetra pick as well. Playing to hold that house. Moving between spots of cover. I can get behind that. Artemis has first crack on the point. They'll have that first capture. Looks like Maverick tried to play with the turrets. The rest of Artemis is aware of the trap that Kashir has set in there. But that knowledge comes at a cost as they get picked off. Low health bars all around for ILIAD Artemis. They got the point, but they will not be able to hold it on for very long. It's going to be a call to back up and regroup before they go back in. The game plan does not change.
Hey there.
Ultimate coming online for Victory. The Pulse Bomb has a couple of easy targets in my mind.
Hello.
Looking for those squishies. Last bit of damage on top of Diva. Where does Victory want to put it? ILIAD Artemis. Working on top of that point. Damage is good. Pauline finds the last bit on top of Duck on Quack. It doesn't look like Artemis is going to be able to get in there. Doesn't matter. Kiriko pops that ultimate, the Symmetra wall as well. Pulse Bomb comes out, but it gets eaten up by that Diva. Roadhog finds the pluck and throws Maverick into the well. But ILIAD Artemis were able to find a few picks off of that initial engagement. They're still trying to maintain control, but they are not able to find it. Duck on Quack, a little bit late to the party. Seeing what they can find. The bolus is ready and available. 70% here. Emote down mid. Kiriko ultimate for medium as well. Cardiffin finds the pluck. Down goes Mardux. A rough pick. ILIAD Artemis down quite a few, and yet another one from Cardiffin. Maverick pitches himself off the edge. It's a last-ditch effort to try to sync up the respawn timers, but 10% left. EDM took control of the well and blitzed it. It's a desperate play for a touch. Overtime achieved. Pain was able to get there. Paulina's ultimate. And there's the Roadhog ult as well. In goes the Ramatra. It's Hell in a Cell. Trying to get something going here. Cardigan falls down. Maverick trying to force something, anything. The heals from the Wu Yang will keep him up for just a little bit longer. ILIAD Artemis, desperate to keep this going. Even Pain switches over to that Pharah pick. Anything to get there. Artemis finds the cap. EMD doesn't have to panic here. They're at 99%. Just have to shove them off. You just gotta win that one fight. Pressure's on top of Artemis. Malga taking quite a bit of poke. Is able to avoid the Tracer Bomb, but not the kunai from Gorilla. Not that big tough health bar. Not squishy. Quite the opposite, I might say. But it doesn't stop ILIAD Artemis from trying to stay aggressive. Kashir finds the duck on Quack in the back. Marduk's trying to force something to happen, but just can't make it work. Stella even pops that title burst, but it doesn't matter. Cardigan gets up in there. Now the Mauga. Maverick respawns. Trying to dish out damage, but he's all alone. Overtime reached. And unfortunately, ILIAD Artemis staggered death timers are gonna make this next 10 seconds brutal. As the second point goes to Emote down mid. Oh my gosh. I mean, it really is down to the wire. You are not gonna see a closer one than this. It went EDM, Artemis, EDM. And now here, even in this map, Artemis and then EDM. Both teams are desperate for this last point. This last point decides everything. ILIAD Artemis doesn't change up their team comp too much. Emote down mid. Swaps to a Zarya and the Reaper. It's a lot of damage to have on board. Both teams feeling each other out, seeing what they can poke out and find. Eyes on Duck on Quack. Seeing if they can find that pick. Zarya looking pretty low, but the team is there to heal them back up. Pain can't get that last bit of damage that they need. And Victory back on this Tracer. Terrifying. Whoa! Almost dies. Maverick doesn't notice. So they're gonna live for just a little bit longer. Artemis has control of the point. Even though they have control, it's still that poking and prodding game, except for Maverick shoved out of the mech into Baby Diva mode and picked away. Emote down mid, looking to get a little bit aggressive. Stella finds Kashir. A Victory. Full health and looking to see what they can find. Gorilla picks off Mardox, but not before they get the ultimate out. And now it's gonna be the ultimate from Emote down mid as they surge forward on top of that point. Cardi is fully charged. Oh, not fully charged, 70%. You know what I mean? A little bit of rounding over here. Point being that Zarya damage is gonna be a little bit threatening for a bit. Switch is happening. Maverick moves on to the hazard. ILIAD Artemis and Emote down mid. 50-50. 34% now crossing in favor of Emote down mid. Quack has the ultimate available. And there's the title blast from Pauline. But it doesn't quite find what they're looking for. Worried about that Death Blossom. It's going to be up soon, and Victory's still holding on to this Pulse Bomb. Putting pressure on top of that Kiriko. Taking quite a bit of damage. Marduk's forced to flee and get back to safety. Stella lets rip that title burst, and Maverick surges forward, picks off Cardigan. Hazard taking quite a bit of damage though, stuck and dead. Kashir lets rip that Death Blossom, picked up by Marduk's. Back and forth. 70%. Emote down mid. Maintains control. Despite taking a couple losses. Marnock's picked up by Gorilla. This back and forth game going relatively quietly. And yet, the implications are loud and huge. 90% here for Emote down mid. ILIAD ARTEMIS has to put up a fight. But with what ults? With what tools? Kashir picks off a duck on Quack. Hazard tries to get into the mix, but they're too low. They touch for overtime, but it's just not enough. In they go, and down they fall. Graviton Surge pulls Maverick in place for the damage to come out, and Cardiffin puts it on. And Emote down mid controls the map and finds that last point. And a best of 5 banger. Emote down mid walks away with the W.
Play begin.
Whew. It was so ridiculously well played from both teams. But ultimately, Emote down mid found crazy momentum, especially on top of that second map. Saw that play of the game for Cardiffin there on that Roadhog, and it was well earned. The hooks there were crazy, finding lots of value. You really just got to give it up to Emote down mid overall for being able to pull that off against ILIAD ARTEMIS. You gotta hand it to ILIAD ARTEMIS as well. Hey, it sounds kind of crazy to be like, oh, they both did good, you know, everybody gets their little award. That is real. That is reality. I just watched a bloodbath. I just watched 2 Titans punch each other into the face until they both fell down. ILIAD ARTEMIS unfortunately just fell down a little bit more first. But it was not without blood, sweat, and tears that they gave that up. A rough start from ILIAD ARTEMIS where it looked like EDM was able to establish some crazy presence, but they came back in that second and third map. But Emote down mid was able to find that last bit of push that they needed, that they were missing from those last 2 maps. Once they found that, once they're able to really force that in there, they're able to walk away with that win. I mean, look at this. Dude, even maps 2 and 3 were down to the wire. Actually ridiculous. Actually insane gameplay from everybody involved. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out today and watching ILIAD ARTEMIS versus Emote down mid. I gotta give a huge shout outs to all the players involved. You guys played like crazy people outside of your minds. That was insanely fun to watch. Obviously, shout outs to, you know, ILIAD for having me here and letting me cast. Shout out to FaceIt League. Thank you so much. Shout out to production. Please make sure to thank not only Headrammer but Hippie as well for making sure that everything runs smoothly and you all can just hear me prattle on forever, but I won't keep you here for too much longer. Thank you guys for being here and watching today. This has been a joy to be here and to cast. So shout out to everybody, and I hope you all have a good night.